now I'd like to welcome Dr. Pillai to join us again for his next teaching. Dr. Pillai actually teaches that the miracles of the midbrain can be experienced in every area of life. So in this segment, he's going to be sharing about the potential of the miracles in two key areas of life: health or vitality and relationships. And then Dr. Pillai, we look forward to the technique that you're going to give us, the sounds that will activate the midbrain.
Let me start with the primordial sound, because that resonates with Dr. Alexander's experience. And his experience, I read his book, and he calls God as Om. He pronounces it as Om. I'm sure he had no background in Eastern mysticism or philosophy. But then he came up with the sound and called God as Om. And that is very interesting, because I spoke about Patanjali, the father of yoga, and he is primarily an atheist. The founder of yoga is an atheist, because you have to know that atheism in the Eastern tradition is a different kind of atheism. It's called theistic atheism. It's kind of an oxymoron. But when Patanjali was asked to explain who God is, he says exactly what Dr. Alexander has to say. Tasya vachaka pranavaha. This is Sanskrit as it given by Patanjali. And he says, to translate this into English, Om is the linguistic referent for God. That's what he exactly said. So you have Patanjali going into samadhi, which is a trance, and finding God as Om. And here is a neuroscientist who is also going into that place and seeing God as Om, sound. And that is very interesting. So the sound is the basis for consciousness. In the previous session I said I have an equation which is S equals I, sound equals intelligence, or intelligence can also be called as consciousness. So consciousness is sound. So you now are making some sound, then you understand, because we know the rules of the sound. Now you think something, and then that is also a sound. So without sound you cannot think, and you cannot understand. Sound is fundamentally something that produces consciousness, not the brain. The brain is empowered by consciousness. So that's what the learning is going to be in the golden age, is that the sounds can create consciousness and also matter. That's very important. Consciousness and matter are not different, after Einstein. Energy and matter are one and the same. So we can create everything through the sound. So the incredible amount of success that the transcendental meditation people have accomplished. In fact, I studied with the founder Maharishi a long time ago in the Himalayas. And he is the one who made the sounds available to a large number of people and created miracle. The only difference is I'm putting the sounds to very, very rigorous scientific research and what part of the brain gets associated with what sound. Now, having said that, and I want to reflect on the Om sound, which Dr. Alexander was mentioning, and he quite appropriately called Om the God. Okay? That's the best thing that you can do. Now I'm going to give you some more understanding on Om and God, and then which is relevant to the midbrain, which we are not using as much as we should in order to create miracles in our life. Okay. The sound activates the left brain, the O, the right brain, and the the midbrain. Well, having said that, I want to go further and then also give you some understanding of what I understand from a yogic perspective as brain, as the neuroscientists would do. Now, the yogis knew about the brain in a different way. They did not know as much as the scientists do about the brain. The yogic brain is the subtle brain, the brain that you cannot see with your human eyes. So, but it's still a brain, and you could see with heightened awareness. The Theosophists would call it as the etheric double. There is a double for everything. If I have a leg, there I have a leg in the subtle world or astral plane, as some people call it. And if I have a hand, and then there is an astral, at the astral level, there is a replica of that. Similarly, the brain too. So when I say the midbrain, it doesn't, is not the midbrain as a brain scientists would understand and confine it only a very small portion of the area, including the thalamus, the brainstem, and the pituitary and the pineal gland. But when I say the midbrain, it is all of it. It even includes, it starts from the parietal lobe and goes down into the brainstem. It is really the mid part of the brain. That is the way I understand it. And that needs to be open, because when the yogis talk about it, that is the brain that they talk about it is only, the yogic midbrain. But that's not different from the physical brain as the scientists would know now, because they interpenetrate. Okay? It's a replica of this brain. And when you go and activate that, then you will have tremendous amount of understanding about human nature, about the phenomenal nature, and then how you can manipulate this. Now I want to talk about the program that I have developed based on the midbrain. Addresses a lot of issues that we as human beings face in our life, like health, relationship, and manifesting things that we want to do, and also how to do it quickly and understanding time and all that. So that the program includes all of the issues, but related in relation to the midbrain. But in this session, what I want to do is to give you some fundamental sound that will open the midbrain, because the midbrain is the answer for many of our human problems. Now, I just want to talk about health miracles, and years ago when I was at the University of Pittsburgh, I was trying to start a department of Indian studies there, and I came into contact with a person called Norman Cousins, who had life-threatening illnesses, and what he did was he just watched comic movies and got well. Okay, and the second time and then he wrote a book called The Anatomy of Illness, which became a bestseller. The second time that he got another illness and the life-threatening, and the doctor said he would die, but he said, "I'm too young to die, I won't die." At this, then he again got well. Then this time he didn't want to go back to the world, but then he went to UCLA Medical School. And then he started what is called a psychoneuroimmunology department. Okay, what that high-sounding word means is whatever you believe becomes real. Okay, and his book was Head First: The Biology of Hope. What he did was he was working with a lot of physicians and their families and others who had cancer, terminal cancer, and then how just by changing consciousness you can really change a physical condition. This is a model, that the evangelical model that has been given a scientific angle, because Jesus was a healer and Moses was a healer and all the prophets were healers. Okay, and before I give you the sound that can open the midbrain, I want to. I just remembered. I was traveling inside a village in India very recently, and there were thousands of people, about 5,000 people, listening to a guy who was healing, and he will call people and then said, John will say that you cannot see. The people say that's wrong. Who said that you cannot see? Now I will make you to see. So this guy who is able to channel a particular god, deity, is able to identify the people who with all these problems and call them and then cure them in just a few seconds. He will say, no, I don't believe that, if anybody says that you cannot see, that's not true. Now see. And these are illiterate, most of them illiterate people in India, villagers. Then I saw him calling another person who cannot speak, and then said, you speak, and then he was able to speak. And this man who was channeling this entity or God was completely drunk. And he keeps drinking. There are some YouTube videos also that you can see about this healing practice. So what is happening is he is shutting down his neocortex, and alcohol helps him. That doesn't mean I am recommending that you drink alcohol and anything and become an alcoholic. But this is a practice that's still going on. At a given day, you will have 10,000 people. Like New Moon Day, you will have 10,000 people go and see him. And there's no guarantee you will see everybody, but he calls people whom he wants to see. So we have the same phenomenon here. Is the guy called John of God, and Harvard people have studied him, and also in Philippines there is the psychic surgery whom Shirley MacLaine wrote a book on it, and then had also brought this guy to the United States, and psychic surgery in a system demonstrated all these things. But all these things prove one thing, that we have the ability to bring out the miracle that we want to experience in this life. But that miracle is not going to be given to us by our regular education and regular understanding of the brain, and which is pretty negative. So if you just have terminal illness, you say no, you're finished, and then there is very little hope. And this is exactly what I want to do for the world, to prove that there is a part within you that can bring this health miracle. And it is just, a part of the brain. So that's why I'm very happy, instead of, talking about in metaphysical terms like God, or, surrendering it to God, or surrendering your ego. And these are all to me like very vague terms, and then people have very hard time understanding these things. So what you have to do is like understand sound waves, okay, and the parts of the brain that are associated with it. And then instead of holding on to the, I used to say that instead of holding on to the feet of the Lord, you can hold on to the brainstem, for instance. The brainstem, has a law. You can hold on to it, and then it can change you. It can help you to understand the prana, which is the life energy more. Or hold on to the feet of the thalamus. They are not mutually exclusive. I'm not against God, because God does exist, because He is a deity, as Alexander used the word deity. I'm very happy that he used the word. There is a deity that you can speak to. But the deity has, his counterpart within the midbrain. I would say the deity is the midbrain. Okay. And then we have to go and understand it. There's tremendous amount of literature on the midbrain within the Indian mystical tradition, where you can create miracles for yourself. And I said, talking about the Om, the last sound, is the key. That will open the midbrain. And if you are aware, you will really see what is going to give you those miracles. I'll tell you my own personal example. I just like to give examples that everybody can relate to. When I heard the song of George Harrison, and then on God, he said, my sweet Lord, my sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord. And as soon as I heard, then I just went to look at the lyrics, and then he put this, what is he saying? My Lord. Because the M cannot be, because it's a consonant, it cannot be pronounced. You have to put some vowel or a semi-vowel. That's why you have to put my Lord. The sound is the sound that can open up the midbrain. The midbrain starts from the brainstem. In the midbrain in the yogic concept starts from the brainstem, and then the lower brainstem, and goes up to and hits the parietal lobe. It's you can see the thalamus playing a key role, because the thalamus is really the key, because there's a relay station. So it responds to the sound more. So I'm going to give you a fundamental technique to open the midbrain. So what is going to happen? What is the advantage of this? The advantage is, what we are trying to do is to completely cut off our noise. The noise is coming from the neocortex. So whatever you do, the problem, I have been teaching meditation for at least for 4 decades, and people all will come and complain that you always ask us to meditate. The problem is, I can't meditate. Why? The moment I close my eyes, million thoughts come, and then I have to, just get off and then go and do things. So they don't know how to shut down the noisy brain, which is the neocortex, and then only they can really get into the midbrain. That's why we have today found a device which Patanjali, the father of yoga, did not have. He simply said, in order to experience God, he said, shut the brain down. Okay, chitta vritti nirodha, shut it down. But that's how. That's the problem. How can I, shut down the brain? There is no way I can shut down the brain. because it keeps coming and coming, and then I gets distracted. But they accomplished it in through a discipline. We don't have that discipline. For instance, Carl Jung went to see Raman Maharshi in India. And when he went to see Raman Maharshi, it took 3 months in those days, in the 1940s, for him to travel, to go to India, and he had diarrhea and everything in those days. And then he went and sat in front of the Raman Maharshi, who had just a loincloth. And he gave the highest tribute to Raman Maharshi. He said, he is the whitest spot in the white sky. The whitest spot in the white sky. And what about Raman Maharshi? He answered the question about the thoughts creating problems. He said, one guy said, hey, you ask us to meditate, and then all our problems will be solved through meditations. But the problem is I can't meditate because the moment I close, the thoughts come. Raman Maharshi usually never answers questions. The thousands of people will come and sit in front of him. He's lost. He's not in his neocortex. So this time, he pulled up his consciousness and then answered the question. Oh, you have problems with thoughts? Oh, I see. I have problems with thoughts too, he said. They were surprised. My God, you have been a full-time meditator for 60 years and you have problems with thoughts? Yes. But my problem is different from your problem. And your problem is to get rid of thoughts. But my problem is how to get a thought. I have to make tremendous effort to pull a thought inside my mind. Okay, when you can get to that level, it is very easy. It is very easy, and every thought that you have will manifest. And that is the goal of yoga. That is the goal of meditation. The goal of meditation is not to run away from life, not to completely make your mind empty. And if you think that is the case of yoga, you are wrong. The goal of meditation is, when the Buddha said in nirvana, emptiness is everything, it's not a negative condition. Because when you completely become empty, then you are completely full. Then you can do everything that you want to do. So the first thing that you have to understand, I'm going to give you a couple of things now. One is a practice, because a practice is more important than blah-blahing. So I have blah-blahed enough. Now I'm going to do you something that can help you. Close your eyes. Focus attention on your right eye. And visualize a very powerful light entering into your right eye and shooting into your left brain. Go to the left eye, visualize another powerful light entering into your left eye and shooting into your right brain. Go to the right nostril. Again, visualize the light getting into the right nostril. and the left nostril, visualize another light. The light that is entering through the right nostril and the left nostril meet at in between the two eyebrows, and see that point. Now again the right eye, visualize the light getting in and shooting into the left brain. The left eye, receive the light that's shooting into the right brain. The right nostril, receiving the light, the left nostril, and they are meeting at the point in between the two eyebrows. Visualize the entire body filled with light. Now go to the brain stem, just above the spinal column. And go up. Focus attention on the brainstem. It controls your life energy according to yoga. The brainstem is a very important part. It's where the life energy converts itself into mental mind energy. And go up to the midbrain, the thalamus, then go into the corpus callosum, the area into the cortex, into the parietal lobe, or just a column of light. And I'm going to give you the sound for the midbrain. This is a very fundamental sound. The eyes are light, the nostrils are filled with light, the two brains are filled with light, the whole body is light, and you are focusing on the midbrain and hearing the sound. Visualize the sound arising from the midbrain and then going deep up and hitting the top of the brain. Even if we have, this, the EEG will show a remarkable changes. We have not done the research yet, but I'm sure that you will see dramatic results within the midbrain. Even with the other sounds, we have this changes occurring. So this, to me, is the most important tool in order to empower the brain. So that we can get into the domain of the miracles. So you can create miracles, but you have to know the higher brain. It's not a philosophy. You can just put your hands on it and then say, hold on to the brainstem, hold on to the thalamus. In the course that I am doing, and I will explain this all in detail. In fact, whenever I do a course, it's, I have developed the course already, but I will keep on improving because I believe that every moment is new. And every moment there is a new revelation coming to me. So nothing to me, I don't want to do anything that's old and repeat it. That's why I want to revise Patanjali and revise yoga, because we can do a better job today than the yogis have done. So if you have problems in any area of your life, then it is, I have a new way of putting this out, blame it on the brain. It is an anatomical abnormality. If you don't have a good relationship, maybe you are not erotic enough for getting the erotic feelings or experience or, climaxing, blame it on the pituitary, the hormone oxytocin, and then or if you have any lack of romantic feelings, then I have read research on the anterior cingulate associated with the romantic love. So it's all going to be blamed on the brain. So I can offer something that's really concrete. That's going to be the new teaching. That is how I feel fulfilled to do this teaching. So I'm going to really revise every teaching that I have had. Not that I disbelieve any of them. I believe in them. So far, it has been more to do with deities and archetypes. They are not irrelevant. They are very relevant, but they are very, very at a high level. It has to be incorporated with the material science. And that is material sciences. I'm going to talk more about the pituitary if you want to have more pleasurable experience, relationship, left hemisphere, and left amygdala, all this, it's not just only fear. And the anterior cingulate, all these things give us a very practical approach to solve our problems. So blame it on the brain. It's an abnormal, if you don't have money, it is because certain part of the brain is not working good. And then you can, I'm not going to stop at that, and I'm going to give you a sound, because the sound is the building block of not only consciousness but also energy. And then the deities also. So it's going to be a comprehensive approach to get things under your control and live a fulfilled life. So this is going to be the new teaching. I'm very happy that I have completed the outline of this, and I have also recorded something, but I'm going to add more because every moment is new. Because in my meditation, many things are revealed to me, so that I'm able to integrate philosophy with brain science. That is going to be the new teaching. So all the meditations will be done through softwares and integrations of this and with sounds delivered in a different way, because I'm more interested in the infrasounds also now. They are more powerful. Instead of talking in terms of traditional categories, we can incorporate science, and science can do a lot to illustrate what the yogis were doing for centuries.
Thank you, Dr. Pillai. We need to take another break now, and we look forward to the next time that you come back, where you'll be teaching the sound for instantaneous manifestation.
I will. I'll be delighted to do that.
Okay, everyone. So during the break, you're going to enjoy a video about the incredibly inspiring work of Tripura Foundation. Dr. Pillai has already talked about that. And really, it's my greatest blessing to serve as the global director of this foundation. And I have the daily fulfillment of bringing Dr. Pillai's brain-changing education to the poorest children throughout India. Our children are experiencing the miracle of creating an entirely new destiny through the sounds that enhance their intelligence and create peace and hope in their hearts. So we have a goal to open 100 Hope Centers by January. And today we have a generous donor who will do a dollar-for-dollar matching of your donations made today. So to help us meet our goal and to give a new destiny to these beautiful children, you can click the link for Tripura Foundation under your viewing window. Dr. Pillai's landmark 90-day program, MidBrain Miracle Method. I'm personally so excited about the launch of this new program as I was present when Dr. Pillai recorded the video sessions that are the foundation of the program. Now, I've been studying with Dr. Pillai for 20 years, and this is truly a program that combines his most innovative and insightful teachings, as well as initiations and activations that immediately shift you at a very deep place. So if you commit to this program, you will definitely see daily change and experience the incredible fulfillment of creating miracles for yourself and for others. Now, I'm a big believer in the role of commitment in experiencing miracles. I'm just going to tell you briefly about my story. When I met Dr. Pillai 20 years ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I was deeply suicidal, had very bad relationships with men, almost no money, and no sense of life purpose. So all I knew was that I needed a spiritual teacher who could connect me to God and solve all of these problems. And I'd been waiting for 10 years. Now, the first evening that I met Dr. Pillai, I just knew deep in my heart that he was the holiest being I'd ever met and that he would resolve the profound pain that I had. So he gave me an initiation to one sound. It wiped away all the deep sorrow in my heart, and I had a first-hand experience of God. Then a few weeks later, he invited me to join a teacher training course to learn how to teach meditation. Now, that was $500, and that was a lot of money for me, but I didn't hesitate for a second. I knew that he was the teacher I'd been waiting for, and I seized the opportunity to learn anything I could from him and just absorb his energy. So since then, every single aspect of my life has dramatically changed since committing to that first course. I began teaching meditation at his college classes. I began doing I did a few tasks for him, and soon I was organizing his seminars throughout the US, globally managing everything, traveling and teaching and touching the lives of so many thousands of people. He sent me to India to open a center for him, and then I found the greatest love of my life in our charity work for the poor. So many more miracles have happened for me throughout all these years, and really, it all began with the commitment to that first course. Money is just an exchange of energy. I gave what I considered a lot for me, but due to my commitment, I received a completely new life. So it's a perfect time to commit to a new life. It's the beginning of the age of miracles. And when Dr. Pillai comes back after the break, he's going to be sharing his revelations on how you can activate creativity and timelessness within you to help create miracles for yourself with ease and joy, even instantaneously. And as I said, he's going to give you the sound for instantaneous manifestation. So we look forward to seeing you after the break. We believe that everybody needs hope. This was certainly my story. When I first met Dr. Pillai about 20 years ago, I was at a very hopeless time in my life. He gave me hope, and it's my personal commitment to pass that on to as many people as possible. And for all of us at Tripura Foundation, our heart goes out to the people suffering from poverty every day. Those that are not only hopeless, but the have-nots, the forgotten people that have been left behind, especially in the rural areas of third world countries around the world. We've been caring for many deserving poor people around the world. Now I'd like to share about our current initiative, Hope Learning Centers. We started this initiative in July of 2011, and this initiative is really the birth child of all the many years of work that we've done in trying to find what is the key to helping poor people totally transform their lives. And we found out that number one is education. As Dr. Pillai explains, if you give the gift of education, you give the greatest gift to a human being. When you give education to a person who wouldn't have that opportunity without your gift, you are offering the chance for a soul to have a new destiny. Hope Learning Centers, we give transformational education with heart. The transformational education comes from the 30 years of development by Dr. Pillai. He's been developing tools and techniques based on sound technologies that can reprogram your mind, enhance your intelligence, empower your soul, enable your emotions to be strong and brave and courageous in this world. So these educational components are the key to the success of our Hope Learning Centers. And we've found that in the past year, since the opening of 8 centers in India, that the success has been phenomenal. We're seeing change at a rate that we've never seen before in all our years of service. Please join your hearts with us, help us, give us your support financially, and we will partner with you all the way to doing our best to bring this transformational education to the rest of the world as quickly as possible so that we can help our children truly become the leaders of a new age, heaven on planet Earth.